Hello vinyl community, it's Matt here again, and we have an unboxing video. It's not a Beatles box set this time, no. We have something right here. Let's take a look at what it is. Actually, I'm pretty sure that the title of this video already gave it away, but this should be a headphone tube amplifier. Well, it's going to amplify some tunes as well, but no, it's a tube amplifier. So we're going to have a look what we've got in the box here. Now, right on top, I can see there's a couple of extra tubes. Power cable, that's good, because the eBay listing didn't mention the power cable. I just kind of assumed it came with it. And it's pretty well packaged. Probably would have been better with some styrofoam, but that's okay. There's a lot of plastic bags in it, which is handy, because I use these as trash bags. Let me see if we can lift this bad boy out of here. Here we go. Still wrapped up. Okay. Here we have it. This is the Little Dot MK2. It's a Mark II tube amplifier. Look at those beautiful tubes on the top. I've never owned a tube amplifier before, and it's just something I've been curious about. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not too sure what's up with this light right. Oh, I know what's going on. Yeah, looks like they put something over the LED power light, like a little bit of paint or something. I do remember this being a complaint about this amp, actually, was how bright this light was. It wouldn't have bothered me, but that's okay. I did get a good deal on it, so even if I can't pick off whatever this white stuff is, it's not that big of a deal. Now, I believe at least some of these tubes are upgraded. I don't know if they all are. I'm trying to see. They might be. These might all be upgraded, which is nice. I did order some more tubes as well to go with it. Something they call that tube rolling. So I'm very new to this, so I don't know all of the jargon. But yeah, so we're gonna go plug this in just a moment and give it a test out. I do know that you're supposed to keep the volume set to minimum while you power it up, and I think these can take maybe a few minutes to warm up properly. But yeah, these do look like upgraded tubes, so that is nice. So I'm guessing that inside these little boxes are probably the originals. Let's have a look. I don't know. Probably. I wouldn't know what I'm looking at, to be honest with you. Yeah, those may well be originals that are in here. So, for anyone who's not very familiar, and I kind of include myself among that, but tubes should sound warmer. And again, this is just a headphone amp, so it does have both inputs and outputs on the back. I believe this is just a passive output, so I don't know if the tube may, I think it is still going through the vacuum tubes, but in any event, I just intend to use it as a headphone amp. And I did buy a little switch box back there, which I'm going to use so I can alternate between this or having it go through my main, having the sound go through the main receiver. But yeah, looks very solid. Slightly bummed about this, whatever this crap is on that they've covered the LED up with. It looks like a bit of fluff or something, or maybe it almost looks like they had a sticker on here, and that's the residue. Like I say, it's not that big of a deal. I didn't notice it in the eBay listing, but whatever. Nice. It's very weighty. I think it weighs in at somewhere like 5 or 6 pounds, and a nice big transformer on the back of it. So yeah, I guess let's give it a try. I don't know if I can output any sound. It probably wouldn't do anything, because, you know, YouTube's gonna then compress the audio, so you're not really gonna be able to tell if it's like that warm tube analog sound or not, I don't think. But I will go give this a listen, plug it in, and I will come back with my first impression, so stay tuned. All right, so we're back from some initial testing. It's not quite what I thought it would be, actually. I didn't find the sound difference to be as noticeable as I thought it could be, compared to the, my run-of-the-mill solid-state receiver that I have. That said, it was interesting. So I tried two records. I tried the Beatles' Abbey Road and Steely Dan's Asia, and both bordering on audiophile kind of listening experiences, I guess, for one reason or another. And so these headphones, these are the Hi-Fi Man HE400 SEs. They're not particularly high end. They're not low end, but they're mid-fi, I guess. These probably something like $120. These headphones. Now these are slightly higher impedance, I think, than the little dot is currently configured for. I know that the little dot has various jumper settings on the inside that you can tinker with to drive different requirements for different headphones and so on, and also for different tubes as well. So although I thought it sounded decent on these, I wasn't blown away. And once I turned the volume much past about 50%, I was getting a lot of distortion. So I'm thinking that right now the power that it's outputting is not really quite enough to drive these satisfactorily. So I will tinker with the inside. That said, the seller did not provide any jumpers unless they're already inside the little dot. Maybe they are, I don't know. I'll have to open it up and take a look. Interestingly, these much cheaper headphones, these are the Lix Pro HAS10 headphones, and these are like $40-50 headphones, so these are not very expensive. They are quite highly rated as far as budget headphones go, but again, they are pretty cheap. These these do not have impedance numbers available publicly, as far as I can tell. I searched on Google, couldn't find anything. Most sites just put like impedance unknown for these headphones. That said, because they sounded louder, they sounded better. The bass was much tighter on these. Now, these headphones aren't as airy, so you're not getting as much of an open soundstage with them, just in general, to start with. Part of that is these are closed back, these are open back, and so that's part of the difference. But these sounded better, I thought. So these, I'm assuming, are lower impedance compared to these. That said, using my regular solid state receiver, these sound considerably better than these. So the Hi-Fi Mans definitely sound a lot better normally. So I thought that was interesting. Other things to note, the tubes get very hot. The tubes at the back, the bigger ones, those are kind of the, I don't know what they call them, the power tubes, or those are the tubes that are providing the main amplification. The smaller tubes at the front are for the preamp, as far as I understand it. Those don't seem to run as hot, but yeah, I touched one of the back ones. I mean, I knew they were going to get hot, but I thought I'll just give it a little touch. But even touching it for less than a second, I was like, oh man, that is hot. So I probably wouldn't want to leave that switched on around the kit, so that's something I gotta keep in mind. I'll have to make sure it's switched off at the back. And I'm going to be curious to see how long it takes for those to cool down. I don't know yet, but anyways, let's get back to the sound quality. So again, it is slightly difficult for me to gauge when I've got one set of headphones I don't believe the little dot is quite configured correctly for right now, and another set of headphones that's a lot cheaper. Yes, they are considered pretty decent budget headphones, but it's a little bit hard to make the comparison. Now, I've read that some of the Sennheisers play very nicely with the little dot, even on the default factory settings. I don't think I'm ready to splash out hundreds of dollars for a new pair of headphones just based on the tube amp. I think I will try to tinker with what I've got. I'm not going to open it up right now. The reason being that I've got a couple more tubes on the way from eBay, and I may have to tinker with it depending on the tube, so I have to have another look at it. There wasn't a manual that was supplied, but the manual's freely available online, so that's not a problem. So I will wait for those tubes to come. I think they're supposed to come in several days, and then I can kind of do both at the same time. But anyways, yeah, you can see it all lit up here, all set up nicely. the tubes are lit up, that little blue LED is still covered at the front. I can tell the LED's on underneath it. I can just about see a blue light shining out underneath that white stuff. So I may try and take that white stuff off, but it's not that big of a deal. And yeah, it's all set up right here. And this next to it is the shit sys SYS. It's just a little switch box. I have this other little shit stack here with the Mani, which is a phono preamp, and the Loki, which is a equalizer. So I'm just using the switch in reverse actually, because normally that switch is for 2 inputs, 1 output, but I'm using it for 1 input and 2 outputs. So 1 output going to the little dot, 1 output going to my regular Sony solid state receiver. So yeah, I'm gonna, like I say, wait for those tubes to come, play around with it some more. I did get a really good deal on the little dot, so even if it turns out that adding these different tubes to the power tubes and tinkering with the jumpers when I open it up, and even if that doesn't change things as much as I'd like, it was an experiment. I wanted to give it a listen, and like I say, I'm not blown away. It didn't sound terrible on either set of headphones, even on these, which I think right now the little dot is having a harder time driving these, because these sound great on my regular receiver. So I think the little dot's just struggling a little bit with that. Now, that said, tubes do tend to introduce a little more distortion anyway than a solid state transistor receiver. So that may be a small part of the factor, but I think it's just the fact that it's not satisfactorily driving these. But that's okay. Like I said, it was an interesting experiment. These do sound better on it. It's just that there's a trade-off. The bass is way tighter on these compared to the hi-fi mans, which again is an indication that it's not driving the other headphones as well as it could. But you get a narrower soundstage on these, and etc., etc. And ordinarily these sound much better. So we'll see. I again wanted to get into this little experiment with the world of tube amps. I have no intention of buying a big tube amp as a main receiver or anything, but something small, well, smallish, like the little dot. What I'm mad about myself actually is that I could have had it's a Dark Voice 336 something. Somebody will know who's watching this. Those seem to be more highly rated, those tube amps, and I could have got one for like $90 or $100 on eBay. It came up as an offer, and I should have jumped on it, and I didn't, and somebody else grabbed it, and that would have been well under half. I think closer to a third of what that would normally retail for. So anyway, yeah, doesn't matter. I ended up getting the little dot. It was a good deal. Gives me something to tinker with, and again, also maybe leaving it on for a little while, letting the tubes fully warm up. Although, given how hot the power tubes are right now, I think it's probably warmed up enough. But anyways, that may improve the sound too. But yeah, again, not that it sounded bad. I just wasn't blown away, but I didn't know what to expect. And again, I think part of the problem is just it's not driving the better headphones as well as it could do, which we will try to fix when those other tubes come. So thank you guys as always for watching. Hope you found this interesting. I don't pretend to know that much about tube amps. I really again, it's my first foray into it, so I'm sure plenty of people watching will know a lot more information about them than I do. But just wanted to show you guys that little unboxing, and yeah, that's it. Thanks as always for watching. Appreciate everybody's comments, and until next time, bye bye. Okay, I'm gonna give a little update. I know you thought it was the end of the video, but it's not. So I'm starting to come around. I'm starting to warm up a little bit. No pun intended with the with the temperature those tubes get up to. So I tried a few more records, and I'm just using the cheaper Lix Pro headphones. They sound miles better than the hi-fi mans do. Again, already touched on why that's happening. I tried a few more albums, and it was actually now maybe not quite blown away, but there were several times I found myself kind of nodding along, going, "Oh, okay, okay." So I'll show you two classics. First of all, Simon and Garfunkel Bookends. I thought, let's give this a try. Part of the reason was, this album was released in 68, was it? Yeah, I don't say, but I'm pretty sure it was 68. And, when tube amps were commonplace. So, in a way, it was produced with tube amps in mind. And this sounded great. When Save the Life of My Child kicked in, which is, well, it's not the opening track, but it's the opening kind of full track that's on here, not counting the little introduction. I was kind of, oh, okay, okay. And then similarly, the Eagles, Hotel California, I stuck this on, and as well was very pleasantly surprised with how nice this sounded. And then I tried a more modern record. This one came out, I think it technically came out last year. This is the 2022 edition of J.S. Ondara's Spanish Villager. Just tried the first track, which has got a great beat to it. And that sounded very nice as well. Very smooth. And I kind of went back and forth with that one, listening between the little dot tube amp and my solid state receiver. And there's definite differences in it. I would say the tube amp is not as detailed in some respects, but it just has it's got a very pleasing sound to it. And the bass sounded great with this, with the beat on that opening song. So, yeah, I don't know if I quite say I'm a full convert yet, a full believer, but I definitely trying out a few more records has helped. Maybe the tubes have warmed up properly now. And like I said, using those Licks Pro headphones is definitely with their different impedance rating. I think they're lower. Using those, the tube amp is able to drive those a lot better, and it sounds better because of it. So, yeah, just wanted to give that update. It's been a couple hours later since I made the other earlier video right there. So, there we go. Thank you guys as always for watching. Appreciate everybody's comments as always, and until next time, bye bye.